Good morning, Jeff and everyone. Kip Herriage here with your daily VRA investing videocast. Hope you're all doing well today. Been all over the map today with the market. So right now the Dow Jones is up 60, Nasdaq's down about 13. Look, last week was fantastic. 6 to 7% gains coming off historically oversold levels. Yesterday looked great, didn't it? Up 400 points at the open on the Dow Jones, and then boom, the hammer hit. We go from plus 440 to finishing down over 800 points. It's a big swing yesterday. And a lot of it has to do with quarterly rebalancing. Again, a lot of still trepidation about this Federal Reserve, frankly. I got to tell you, not encouraging this morning. If you saw Jay Powell, of course, head of the Federal Reserve here, and Christine Lagarde, who's head of the ECB, did an event together. And I wanted to read this exact quote to you from Jay Powell today. This is an exact quote. Jay Powell, talking about inflation, said, "We understand better how little we understand inflation." These are exact words. We understand better how little we understand inflation. That's what from our Fed chair, Jay Powell, who's a complete, I'm sorry, that's a lie. That's just a lie. Jay Powell knows exactly what causes inflation. It's the exact reason the U.S. dollar has lost 98% of its value since the Fed was created in 1913 by the worst president ever, that's Woodrow Wilson. Federal Reserve Act also created the IRS. There's others. But right behind that, we could put George Bush for sure, definitely Biden, Obama, but Jay Powell saying he doesn't. They're now starting to understand inflation to some degree. They know exactly what causes inflation. It's money printing. It's always money printing. It's only money printing. There's nothing else that causes inflation to any degree except for fiat currency money printing. So there you're welcome, Jay. Glad to clear that up for you. You know, when you have that kind of a leadership at the Fed, it's no question. There's no question about why people doubt what's happening at the Federal Reserve and central banks globally. This game of financial engineering, I still think is in the early innings. I think it's got a long ways to go. But boy, you're starting to see the cracks in the armor. They're definitely starting to show up, and it's really highlighted, I think, when you have a president that's as weak as Biden. And so all of these policies get exposed for the insanity that they represent, which are not friendly to the human race. Very friendly to communism, not into the elite, right? But not very friendly to the average person. Wanted to cover a couple things this morning. I'm very bullish here. I got to tell you, I'm very bullish. We're getting into a period here, and this is from so many different areas of research. Stock Traders Almanac was out with a good piece again last night. I've known these guys for a long time. Yale Hirsch, the founder of the Stock Traders Almanac, and I had dinner. I'd been a broker for about a year and a half. We had dinner at Tavern in the Green. He was a legend then, and he was one of the first guys to do, maybe the first one on Wall Street to really do analytics. And they're all about seasonality, right? Patterns and pattern recognition. That's what they do. And again, Yale Hirsch is still alive. His son Jeff Hirsch is running Stock Traders Almanac. We talk every now and then. His dad's still in New York, still going strong. Yale Hirsch is a real legend. Again, shout out to my old friend, Yale Hirsch. But Stock Traders Almanac, their work, again, this is based on seasonality and patterns, okay? Repeating patterns based on the calendar, really, says that the next, from today through weekend, really through July 14th, is a very bullish period historically for the markets. Combine that with the fact that, again, this is we're wrapping up now one of the worst first halves in history for the stock market. It's going to be one of the worst four, I believe, starts to the year, first 6 months, going back, many decades. Well, that's the bad news. The good news is that's historically followed up by a great second half. We shared some of that data with you here. I'm going to compile all that again tomorrow. We may cover all that tomorrow. I'm going to again share it with our readers tomorrow, and I'll repeat it back here to you. But just to give you an example, when you have a market that this week in the first, again, this is the worst first half of the year since 1970. Again, one of the worst 4 or 5 starts since 1930s. It's 100% of the time followed up by a really strong second half. You're seeing like an average gain expected of 20% plus in the second half. So, also we're coming up from the midterms. Again, all of these things it's a very bullish time. At least from November on is very bullish. We got to get to then and hope and pray that it results in what we think it's going to be, which is going to be a complete shellacking of these insane Democrats running this country into the ground. And look, I know when I say these kind of things, I turn off a lot of people. I don't care. I just don't care. I never have cared. I'm a lifelong independent. We play it right down the middle, report the facts, left, right, and different whatever. As I said a minute ago, George Bush is one of the worst presidents of our lifetime. If that makes you sound like a hardcore Republican, then what are you smoking? We just believe in reporting the facts and what we see happening in front of us. And right now, the Democrat Party is so out of touch with reality that you have to question their sanity. Wayne Allen Root, who, of course, most of you know, if not all of you, was the first person I heard say this many, many years ago when I first met him. And I thought it sounded callous and kind of mean-spirited, frankly. I'm just a good old Texas boy. When Wayne said that liberalism is a form of mental insanity. It equates to mental insanity. And I thought that didn't make any sense. I know liberals. They're not insane. We just have different viewpoints. I can't say that anymore. If you are a member of the Democrat Party and support these policies, there's something not right with you. There's something not clicking right upstairs. A switch is turned off. And it's something that the Democrat Party needs to address, because if they ever lose the support of the intelligence community, the deep state, which controls the media, if the left ever loses that base of support, which is, of course, big, they're done for. They're done for decades, because I think there's almost nobody that agrees with these policies. So, again, midterms should be a red-pilled event. By the way, that's happening globally. It's one of the big themes we talk about in our new book, The Big Bribe, that Tyler and I have coming out. Should be next week. It's getting the final strokes done is always difficult, but we're very close to having it listed posted on Amazon, etc. And we'll have that. We'll announce that when it's ready. But it's one of the things we talk about is the red pilling of America and really the world, and what a bullish event that's going to be for this country. How do we know this? How do we know with certainty that it's going to be big time bullish? Look at what happened in the first year of Trump. Look at what happened in the first year. We come out of Obama's 8 years of a stagnant economy that couldn't do 2% GDP growth, okay? With all the QE, with all the rate cuts, still couldn't get the economy to grow, okay? Because these leftist policies do not work for the economy, for the average person, right? Only for the elites. Then here comes Trump in his first year. We're like at 4% GDP in year one, 5% plus in year two. Millions of jobs being created. So we know that when America and our capitalist nature, free market enterprise nature, is allowed to run wild, and I don't mean out of control, not paying attention to regulations, all that. I mean just grow our businesses, hire people, get rid of these stupid regulations, right? That are holding us back. Keep taxes low. When all these things happen, there is no country like America on the planet of the earth. We can do anything. We've proven time and time again. We just need these morons to get out of our way. That's what we think is going to happen come November, and then even more so in 24. And that's one of the reasons we are so bullish into the end of this decade, looking for 100,000 on the Dow Jones. Again, we lay all that out in the book for you. I recognize fully that is a big-time contrarian view, and that's typically where Tyler and I are most comfortable. I want to share something else with you this morning, that there's always a silver lining, you know? There's always a silver lining, and I think there's a big silver lining coming from this bear market. Get woke and go broke. Look at these companies that are losing tens of billions. In Netflix's case, $150 billion in market capitalization plus, okay? Some of these companies getting, well, I'll go over the list. These are Marxist, anti-America, pro-communist companies that believe in the most bizarre far-left things, and now, because, again, the whole country is being red-pilled, we're just saying, you know what, we don't have to do business with you, and we won't do business with you. And now look what's happened to the share prices. Let me cover 5 companies, okay? Nike. What makes Nike so anti-America? Well, they're pro-BLM, right? Pro-Antifa. These are Marxist ideologies, right? Pro-St. George. What's his name? George Floyd, the thug. These are insane belief systems, okay? Well, the market's rewarding them with losses so far of down 44%. Huge losses in Nike. Disney, the groomers, trying to sexualize and indoctrinate our kids insanity, right? Really, it's child abuse is what it is. And Disney's share price has been rewarded with losses of 50%. Who needs a Disney, right? Netflix. We know that their original programming is horrible. You know, it's from being never Trumpers to paying the Obamas and what was the prince and his wife Harry and Meghan Markle. They paid both of them over $100 million on these contracts, and no one watches anything. If they produce anything, no one watches it. So Netflix being destroyed, down 74%, again, lost 150 plus in market capitalization, billion. Uber, if you have an Uber app on your phone, you're getting the same pop-ups I am. Double check your gender. Let's talk about the rainbow colors of homosexuality and transgenderism. I don't. What does that have to do with ride sharing? You know, again, this is Marxist philosophies trying to break down American traditions and culture to tear our country up from the inside. Uber's been rewarded with 57% losses to their share price. And then the two biggies from a censorship point of view, Facebook and Twitter, stocks down 58 and 48%. Censorship, if you are pro-censorship, you're on the losing side of history. Time and time again, we've seen this. If you believe in censorship, you're not one of the good guys, as Tyler says. You are one of the bad guys, and your shelf life is very limited. So good to see Go Woke, Get Woke, and Go Broke playing out right in front of our eyes, isn't it? There's a silver line to everything. All right, folks, that's it for the day. Again, I'm bullish. I think it's going to be a strong finish to the week here for the markets as we head into next week as well. We need a good rally, at least back to the 50, 100-day moving averages as we continue to work our way through this bear market. Try to find a bottom and try to maybe get this administration to realize that they're running this country into a ditch, and we're just not going to put up with it, right? All right, folks, thanks again for watching. Have a great day. We'll see you at the close for our VRA Investing Podcast back here again tomorrow morning. Have a good one. Bye-bye.